Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video I'll be sharing my full leveling journey from level 85 to 90 in Mists of Pandaria Classic. This expansion has always known for its beauty, its atmosphere and let's be honest, its fair share of frustrating mobs and mechanics. For me this was the first time properly experiencing outside of private servers, so everything felt new again, and let's just say, it wasn't smooth. The journey began with the first quest, travel to Pandaria and fight against Horde. Pretty straightforward. Expect there's a bug and the quest instantly completes itself. Not exactly the heroic beginning I expected, but that's Blizzard for you. After that, things got more real. The next step had me fighting Horde on foot. I decided to test my luck and pull 3 enemies at once, thinking I could handle it. Bad idea. I barely survived. Then, of course, I tried again. Same result, except this time I didn't make it alive. That was my first death in Pandaria, and a reminder that this wasn't Cataclysm anymore. Goblins and their damage output hit harder than I remember. Soon after, I was tasked with destroying barricades, and along the way I fought a warlock. That part was easy enough, a cinematic kick in, setting the tone for the expansion. I was suddenly thrown into combat with the Shah. I cleared them out, and then led me to the first Pandaria village. Even though this expansion originally came out in 2012, the zones still look amazing, and the art direction and atmosphere hold it incredibly well. I was genuinely excited to explore since I hadn't played Pandaria properly in years. But beauty doesn't stop bad decisions. I tried skipping mobs to speed things up, pulled way too many, and ended up dying again. 3 days already, and I only been in Pandaria for an hour. Not exactly the start I was hoping for. I end up grouping with random dwarf for a quest, with 2 people it went by quickly. But then he disconnected, leaving me to solve the boss. Luckily, it wasn't too difficult, and I managed on my own. Then came the monkeys. If you ever quested in Pandaria, you know exactly what I mean. They're everywhere, packed close together, and once you pull one, more of them instantly join in. At this point, I started realizing the monkeys were going to be my biggest headache in Pandaria. After that, I took on quests from fish people. This involved killing turtles, monkeys again, and other creatures. I died once more during the part because of course I did. Finally, I queued for my first Pandaria dungeon. It popped very quickly. The group clearly knew what they were doing, I was the only one who didn't. Actually, I died during it too, but the dungeon was complete without much trouble overall. To wrap things up, I did questing, recapping the Alliance storyline. It was well done, almost cinematic. It gave me the strong sense of how the story was unfold. By that point, I had reached about half a level and decided to call it a day. The next day, I came back ready to push further. The quest continued with the fisherman, more wildlife killed, and yes, more monkeys. By this point, I was starting to really dislike them. Other quests had meditating, killing bugs, and crocodiles, running into Alduin and dealing with the witch. Sadly for the footage of hitting level 86 got corrupted, so while I did think, I have no video evidence of it. After the quarry, I gathered gems and worked to the local quest. Along the way, I ran into a elite mob. A druid nearby started attacking it, so I invited him, and together we managed to bring it down. He dropped some materials and even a bag. Items that I wasn't sure how to use yet, but they seems like they come in handy later. This is also where I started fighting with Heroic Leap. In retail, it's smooth and flexible, but in classics, it feels junky. I tried using it to cut paths and skip travel, but the game refused to let me land anywhere near that wasn't valid path. It got me annoyed quickly. Soon after, I trained with the Pandarian. The quest chain was surprisingly quick and followed nice. One quest had me into a really high place, and I thought I could leap it down safely. I was wrong. Heroic Leap failed again, and I fell to my death. Moving into the new zone, my experience per hour felt much better, and the scenery was absolutely stunning. Pandaria's environments are still some of the best blizzards I have ever created. The quest here started simple, collecting water for beer, tending the plants, killing rabbits, and sound peaceful, until the rabbits decided to gang up on me. While trying to turn in a quest, I got overwhelmed by a group of them and died. Not exactly the noble death I expected. Later I outpushed the weeds, the game disconnected. After completing more quests, I ran into a bug where the game thought I was permanently stuck in combat. No matter what I did, I couldn't drop combat. The only solution? Kill myself and respawn. Just another small blizzard moment. A few quests later, I overput mobs again and died, but eventually I managed to hit level 87. The session began with another disconnect, almost immediately after logging in Classic. I came across Terracotta Head, but no idea what it was for. After finding a few terracotta warriors, my dungeon queue flopped. The first boss was easy enough, the second boss took much longer and dragged the pace down. But make things worse, the group decided to skip the dungeon quest, which felt like a waste. Still, the dungeon overall wasn't too bad, and the last bosses were cleared quickly. Unfortunately, the footage of me hitting level 88 was corrupted as well. At this point, a good chunk of my leveling progress existed only in memory. I reached the Pandaria Wall, which is clearly modeled after the Great Wall of China. The design is striking and immediately stood out of the highlight of the expansion. Questing here was a mix of frustration and fun. I tried skipping mobs again, overpulled and nearly died. On the bright side, I got to use barrel bombs to take out waves of invaders, which was the most enjoyable quest. After defeating the boss, I unlocked the next zone. One detail I noticed is that each zone includes vendors who sell gear upgrades. Even though the quest rewards usually keep you geared enough, it's a nice touch for players who might have fallen behind. By this point, questing was starting to wear me down. Not because it was bad, but because I wasn't reading the text. Anytime the object wasn't obvious, I had to stop and Google what to do. Soon after, I entered another dungeon. The first boss was simple, but the second included an interesting mechanic. Throwing pumpkins to slow down waves of bugs. It was fun for the first time, though I can see getting tedious with repetition. The third boss was surrounded by mobs, and our tank pulled too many at once. That was led the group first wipe in Pandaria. We recovered, killed him, and pushed forward. The fourth boss had a neat wind mechanic that was made reaching him more and challenging. In the end, we killed the dungeon successfully. Back in the open world, I started with quests that had me moving down waves of bugs. Then I faced mass firewall. It took me 3 attempts to bring it down. The first 2 times I got destroyed. On the third attempt, I made use of buffs on the ground and finally won. One of the highlights was a quest where I got to shoot bugs with giant cannon. Simple, but very satisfying. I continued through the storyline, finding a worksite on Pandaren to bring down a giant bug, and eventually battled the Shadow of Hatred, which served as a final boss of the chain. By the end, I reached 89. At this level, my spellbook told me I could learn flying. Excited, I went looking for the trainer, only to find out it actually walked behind level 90. I wasted a lot of time chasing something I couldn't unlock. The new zone, however, was beautiful. The grass was a mix of blue and purple, unlike anything else I seen in Pandaria. It felt fresh, colorful, and memorable. Progress wasn't smooth. Through the water current pushed me back when I tried reaching the objects and pulled too many mobs. I managed to complete the quest despite all. The next chain involved helping recovering seeds, battling corrupted trees, and attending a ritual. It wasn't the most exciting part of the journey, but it kept the story moving forward. Finally, I reached the fishing village. The quest here had me setting traps with bait, fighting fish, collecting sharp teeth, and even taking on crabs. It all led to the giant octopus attack, which I managed to fade off, saving the village. At this point, I was just one war away from level 90. Rather than traveling for new quests, I picked up some daily quests, claimed them quickly, and hit level 90 at last. And that wraps my journey from 85 to 90 in Mists of Pandaria Classic. For someone like me who never experienced Pandaria back in the first launch, it was great adventure. The zones were beautiful, quests are solid, and the story moments are memorable. The biggest downside, the mob density. Everything is so tightly packed together, it's easy to pull more than you want and end up dead. But overall, it was fun, frustrating, and rewarding experience. Thanks so much for watching.